Welcome, this is British National Party Television coming to you from Bolton in Lancashire. Now we're here today to report on a demonstration that is taking place, and this demonstration is being held to protest at plans to build a mega mosque in the area. Now we're joined by Mr. Bryn Morgan. Mr. Morgan is the man behind the demonstration. He's organised it and he's leading it. Now, Mr. Morgan, could you tell our viewers why you object to a mega mosque being built in the area?
Well, we object on various levels. Primarily the fact that, first and foremost, there's been no consultation with the local populace in Farnworth. Most people aren't aware of this. This local Labour-run council has sneaked it in under the radar of everybody. What they're actually planning, they're calling it a landmark for the area and a landmark for Farnworth as people enter Farnworth and Bolton. I attended a planning meeting last week, got very little time to speak to oppose this, and highlighted the fact that this is primarily a northwest working class town. If there's going to be a landmark of any description, it should be something that identifies the local area. One of the local planning officers has actually highlighted the fact that this will cause traffic congestion, it will cause problems with road safety, it will cause problems with parking, it will reduce light to local residents. But all of this, the Labour Council have run roughshod over, and as is typical of particularly Labour, always keen to appease the Muslims, have just put this through without any consultation, without any thought for the local community, terrified of saying no for being accused of being accused of racism or religious segregation of the Muslims.
Now, I know you've changed the venue of your demonstrations. Last week, you actually held a demonstration outside the site of the proposed mosque.
Yes.
Why have you decided this week to hold a demonstration in the town centre of Bolton?
A couple of reasons, really. We're highlighting the fact that this mosque is being built and the fact it's a monstrosity. But we're also wanting to highlight the fact of the political corruption that's going on within this Labour-run Bolton Council. Undoubtedly, your viewers should be looking out for which of the local Labour councillors is driving a new Mercedes or BMW very shortly, because ultimately we all know, we all speculate and we are all suspicious of the fact that there's huge corruption within government generally, but also local government within these councils. So ultimately this is making a point outside Town Hall that the Labour Council is corrupt, the Labour Council have no thought for the local populace, they've got no interest in what's right for the local community, they'll give £2.5 million a year to the council of mosques in Bolton, and yet half the roads in Bolton are undrivable because the road repairs haven't been undertaken that should have been. They're all about lining their own pockets. We're convinced that there are financial implications behind this as to why the Muslims are being allowed, which leads into the point as to obviously where are they getting the money for the building these super mosques that cost millions and millions and millions of pounds?
And where do you think they are getting the money from? After all, a prominent academic has recently claimed that Muslim unemployment across Europe is as high as 80%. And government figures in this country show that Muslims are 5 times more likely to claim unemployment benefit. So where do you think, because this is not the only mega mosque that is being built, they're being built across the country.
Yeah.
Where do you think Muslims are getting the money from to finance these massive construction projects?
I think the short and succinct answer to that would be drugs, primarily the heroin trade. Local Bolton residents know that if you wanted to find a drug dealer in town, find an Asian. They're all driving around in flash cars, don't work. The whole Muslim ethos is funded, in my opinion, by drug money and the heroin trade, and we all know how detrimental that is to society. It's also part of their, what I would call, cultural jihad against the white infidel, that they will feed these poisons, feed these drugs to what they perceive to be the white working classes, who are downtrodden by the state, downtrodden by the fascist attitudes of the government. If you're a Muslim, you can get whatever benefits you feel like and no one dare question it, but if you're white and working class, you've got no chance and they're constantly being sanctioned.
Now, you've spoken in the past about fears of Islamification of the Northwest.
Yes.
Is your protest linked to that?
Very much so. The only possible reason that they would want to build such a monstrosity is a statement of Muslim dominance continuing in the Northwest and indeed in what used to be Great Britain. We have a situation here where, with the minarets that they're putting up, you know, that within their culture, this is a statement of dominance in itself. How long is it going to be before we have this ridiculous call to prayer that we've all seen on newscasts from, you know, Saudi Arabia and Egypt and Middle Eastern countries? This is a continued Islamification of the country. The government, and whichever government it is, who all sit and basically lie to us about what their intentions are coming up to a general election, they're all sitting there and continuing this process of Muslim dominance in the UK. I have children. I certainly don't want a situation where my children are a minority in this country and being persecuted because they're not Muslims. We've seen much in the news recently about Muslim extremists and Islamist groups trying to take control of schools. We're constantly seeing another instance recently, Subway introducing full sort of halal situations into their restaurants. It's a constant appeasement across the board. I actually spoke to a local Muslim who attends the mosque in Farnworth. He was querying me as to why we were demonstrating against it, pointing out how long the mosque had been there. And I said to him, if we didn't have Islam rammed down our throats 24/7, if we weren't expected to tailor our lives and our cultures to meet what is the invading hordes into our country, there wouldn't be issue for me to stand here today. I'm curious as to why it is, other than financial, that the Labour Council would see to build this monstrosity in Farnworth of all places.
Well, thank you very much for speaking to us, Mr. Morgan, and making your views very clear indeed.